Folks, this video is about Uniface tools, Uniface scrapers and abrasion tools, which are in a crescent shape, and comparing them to bifaces. But I just want to say that, it's been almost a year now, but I offered all of these to a museum. Come get them. You can have them if you'll display them. Even the mastodon skull. And I was denied. And I am so happy that I was. Anyway, this is by flaking. These are points, or the ends of spear points that was broken and then utilized for another tool. This one was had that little guy that was used. It shows a little bit of wear on the tip of that. This one was broken, and this is soft up here. It's been sanded down so that now it's a handheld tool, a crescent-shaped cutting tool on both sides. And yes, at one time it was a spear point, but it's reused. Most of these are like that, as if they were found and reused. Now, what's kind of odd about this is, I look at all the stones that I dig up and wash, and, I look at all. And any flake, any type of tool, any type of point, of course I keep it. But this, and maybe another couple of boxes about this size, I've got 30 or 40 that's of them. And now this came all from the top of this hill. And that's not very many compared to a person, looking for those. But I am looking for those. None of them gets under the radar. But in a village that was on the top of this hill, and that's the only thing I can surmise, to have this many tools piled on my table. For a village this size, you'd think there'd be a bunch more of these. But why would there be? Why are these broken spear points in the middle of a village? And wouldn't, in creeks and stuff for I don't know. All I'm saying is the majority of the stones I have here are Uniface tools. And what I've separated today is Uniface crescent-shaped cutting tools and crescent-shaped abrasion tools. Now, this whole little talk today is to go through and show that these are tools, and these are cutting tools. All of these right through here are ones you can hold in one hand. These back here are scraping tools, cutting tools that requires two hands. Really getting down on some cutting. There's a hand. Your hand can go on both sides. It takes two hands. And these are large scraping tools. Draw knife is the word I was trying to think of. They're used like a draw knife and require two hands. These are one-handed tools. Cutting. They're a little dull, of course. Not real dull, but they're a little dull. These were made to be used as cutting tools. All of these. Now, I'm right-handed, but that could easily have been picked up with my left hand and still a cutting tool. These are crescent-shaped abrasion tools. Mostly the tool is where the cortex is to make sanding type tools. Most of these was never used for cutting. They were made purposely to be used for that shape as a sanding tool. Some of them here have shows that they were at one time started out with a cutting tool, but they didn't resharpen them. They needed a sanding tool when it got wore down that far. For instance, this one. And it's the wear at the tool part that shows that it was, and this is a double-handed sanding draw knife type thing. And so is this one. This could have started out as a cutting edge, but it appears to be used as a sanding edge now. It's the abrasion part of the stone that was used, whereas cutting tools, they used the hardest part of the stone and not the cortex. Well, this one doesn't have any cortex on it at all. But this is a good example of the stone splitting process. I mean, that's how they did it. They made little naps down through there, pounding or whatever. Then they sliced off a piece of stone like that. I think the Uniface techniques are highly superior to biflaking. I think the edge of a Uniface tool would be so razor sharp, and the biflaking come about when they're dull, which of course it also makes a super sharp blade. Okay, now that's my little talk about the difference between crescent-shaped abrasion tools and crescent-shaped cutting tools. Now I want to talk about the shape of the stone and what image is normal to find on a certain shape of a stone. Let me think about it a bit, and I'll get back. Folks, I've got this thought, and I thought maybe I'd throw it out there, maybe get some help on trying to get it together. I don't have any kind of I don't have a conclusion. It's just an observation. Okay, in Egypt, there's very well carved human images in their art. There's a sphinx and kings and statues and etc. The burial mask of gold with the exact image, copies of the person. I'm talking about the images that are like of human faces, is what I'm saying. But if you look at the Native Americans' mask at powwows, dancing around the fire, etc., they are not the perfect human representation. They're caricatures. Look at the caricature images on the stone. That's the difference. I mean, that's an observable difference, that the Native Americans put caricatures, not the absolute perfect image, in their stones. And the Egyptians put perfect images on their rocks. Folks, I don't know if that made any sense at all. Bye for now.